Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. So here is another example of people power. This, I think, is the third one I've done. Maybe it's the fourth. Anyhow, I've already shown a few examples of people unifying, grouping together and making the corporations or the government back down because, well, we all need more positive news, more motivational stories, don't we? Of course we do. In Australia, the truckies got the government to back down. The Primark story, the protesters going into the store in Birmingham, UK, and then the company deciding not to put jab centres into Primark stores in Austria. Okay, there was two stories. And here's another one from Serbia. Now, I've mentioned this before about how the governments around the world are monitoring reactions, measuring and gauging the response of the public to articles, to announcements. Sometimes news stories and talking points, I believe, are created artificially in the mainstream media in order to just get people to respond, so that these monitoring agents for the government can see how the public react, and then they report back to the government and they decide what the next step is. Here is this story from Serbia in the Telegraph. The Minister for Education in Serbia, called Branko Ružić, was talking about testing children in schools, but said there was too much resistance. He said that it is not possible to do that yet because he saw that there was a lot of resistance from parents on social media networks. The Minister of Education, Branko Ružić, stated today that the testing of children in schools could only be done with the consent of parents or legal guardians, but that it is not possible to do that yet because there is resistance from parents. He said that is not possible to do it yet because he saw that there was a lot of resistance from parents on social media networks. So you've got a minister of the government admitting that they have people who check social media to get an idea of how the public feel about a situation. How much backlash, how much resistance there will be to a policy that they are trying to put through. And if there is a lot of backlash, the government, backtrack. They backpedal. They go off and say, oh, we've changed our minds. And they scuttle away and try and devise another sneaky way to get something they want through. But again, if people are resolute, then that will never happen. So this monitoring of social media is something that I've said that they constantly do. And it again highlights that they are afraid of backlash. They are afraid of resistance. They are afraid of the people united because they know that people have the power, like I've been saying. When they stand strong together, they know this. That's why they are constantly trying to divide the people, to make them weak. That's why so much news is fabricated, distorted stories about racial stories, immigrants or LGBTQ stories, or jabbed against unjabbed, constantly attempting to cause division because united, we are infinitely stronger and can dictate what they do. If we are organized and stick together, if we can realize that, if people can together empower themselves for a cause that is at the moment very worthy, a cause that is worthy of awakening the power in the people. And I know a lot of people talk about keyboard warriors and the such, but this is the age we live in. The virtual world is now an extension of the real world. And the more people who make their voices heard online, who post about how they disagree, who thumb up articles that promote freedom and thumb down what they disagree with and leave comments telling the government to stick their policies where the sun don't shine, it makes a difference, as clearly shown by what the Serbian minister says. Just as the protests make a difference, they do. They work on many different levels. And their fear of massive protests is clearly shown when they don't report on them and pretend they don't happen. They don't want to report on them because they are scared they're going to get bigger and bigger. So now is not a time It's not a time to be silent, whether you're out on a freedom march or posting on social media or leaving a comment or replying to a tweet or whatever. Now is not a time to be silent at your job, at your school, with your friends, with your neighbours. I have many acquaintances on social media who I haven't spoken to for a while, but I still check on them to see what they are saying and what they're up to. And many of them are as silent as a baby sleeping. They don't say nothing. They don't want to stick their head above the parapet. I know what some of them are thinking, but they don't want the hassle of saying stuff. They are afraid their employer will see it. They are afraid their friends will see it. They are afraid to leave comments. Stuff that. This being afraid, being silent, hiding away and hoping things will go away, it never did anybody any favours at other times in history. You being quiet and not rocking the boat and not standing up to be counted is exactly what the powers that be want. That works out perfect for them. Your personal voice and your message and your thoughts and feelings need to be expressed, more so now than ever before, you know? I mean, I'm sorry, but some people I know have disappointed me greatly with their silence. It's like being at school and a school bully picks on you every day. What do you think's going to happen if you say nothing? If you don't stand up for yourself? If you don't make a stand? They will keep on doing it. They will keep on exploiting you. They will keep on dragging you down, and they will use you as a doormat, walk all over you. In life, you have to take risks. Most times, it's better, I feel, to go the unconventional route. It's better to leave the rat race because, let's face it, it's a conveyor belt. It's like a manufacturing plant churning out people to fit into their idea of society. Not your idea, their idea. It's a rigged game. The schools, the systems, the higher education, the debt, the mortgages, the council tax, the bills, the road tax, the laws. All of that is a slave system. And that slave system is now getting upgraded big time. And now is the time to speak out. Don't be the person who is hiding, who didn't do or say what was right at the right time when it was needed, only to say later on how terrible everything has become. Because clearly, as this story shows, your voice makes all the difference, whether it's online or in the real world. So it's best to use it now. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place for like-minded souls who don't follow the fake stream media.